Hello everybody and welcome to Dandelion Lessons here on Patreon, and I just wanted to say welcome and show you my backyard. And there's heat. This is my side yard, but anyways, it's really hot and muggy. I'm looking forward to some rain later today. So I hope you are all well, and let's go back inside and we'll begin. So hello, and we're back inside in my studio, and I'm just trying to position my camera here. Okay, so this is Dandelion Lessons, and I like to begin with pulling some cards, and that sort of guides me to where I want to go for the day. And today I picked two cards. I picked the Hierophant from my Fountain Tarot deck. And this card, I'll talk about what it means traditionally, but I also picked this from my soul cards. I don't know if you can see that. And, well, the Hierophant is a card that I don't feel really drawn to most of the time. It's funny, I don't have a strong connection to it in many ways from most decks, but this deck, the Fountain Tarot deck, I really love the image. And traditionally, the Hierophant is sort of meant to be like a trusted advisor, someone that kind of protects and shares the traditions and spiritual guidance and knowledge of the community. And he or she, but traditionally it's a man, is looked at as a teacher, someone who holds knowledge that is freely shared. And this card, in this deck, the Fountain Tarot deck, I love this image because I love this image of this box with all of these rays of light coming from it. And the Hierophant is looking into the box. And I see it as, let's say we are given certain gifts in our life. And they are things that are treasured by us and nurtured by us. At a certain point in our life, we start to realize what those gifts are, and we treasure them and we nurture them, and we bring the best of them to ourselves. And we also protect them, okay? We keep them close to us, and like I said, we nurture them. But we also know that we've been given these gifts to share with others, okay? And so I'd like to think about if I had a box that contained the gifts that I've been given, that are most treasured by me, and that I know that the gifts in this box, this special box, are the gifts that I am meant to share and to give away freely, okay? And so for me, well, first I'll start, I talked to my husband about it, and I asked him if he had a box full of the gifts he's been given, what is the one thing or two things that would be in that box? And for him, he said compassion and listening. And that is very true for him. He is an amazing listener, and he is a teacher of writing, and he teaches many groups of writers that look to him as sort of a trusted advisor. And he is an amazing and compassionate listener to other people's stories. And it's a beautiful gift that he has. So that was a really easy one, I think, for him to answer because it's so him, you know. And I think for me, I think I was given a gift to see things, ordinary things in an extraordinary way, and to really truly see things in sort of a poetic way too. I mean, I've always kind of had that in my life. And I think also I was given the gift of beginning and being able to begin something and inspire others to begin. And so that's what I do here, right? And on Instagram and on YouTube and in my Craftsy classes, the things that I love and find inspiring in my own life, I like to freely give them away. And so that's why I teach. So I think what I want you to think about is your own box, okay? And the gifts that you've been given in your life, and what those few treasured gifts are, the ones that you nurture or that you might need to nurture more. And that if they were contained in this special box, if you opened it up, you would see the things that you need to share and share freely with others to help them be inspired and to use them in their own lives. So I want you to think about that. What would those things be in your own special box, okay? And then when I look at the soul card, boy, it really kind of fits with that to me today. And so we have this one person, very angelic, with sort of these ray-like wings. And then maybe, you know, her hands down here are holding this very lively being that is maybe her gifts that she holds close to her, that come from her very center, but things that she wants to give freely to others. Okay, so think about that in your own life and what that might mean for you. It could be so many things. Maybe you're a nourisher. You know, maybe you're a person who loves to mother and care for others. And maybe you're a person who loves to cook really beautiful meals and offer them to others. Maybe you have a very good intuition about what people need for healing. Maybe you're a healer. It could be so many things. But I want you to give that some thought, okay? And I'm going to move these aside, and I'm going to talk about my materials here. So, you know, I want to mention one more thing. When we recognize our gifts and we learn to nurture them and treasure them for what they are, and we begin to give them freely to others, this sort of remarkable thing happens. It leads us back to our own inner harmony. And I have found that to be so true in my life. When I really take care of those gifts that I've been given, and I use them well, and I take the time to share them with others, it brings me inner peace and inner harmony. And that is a gift back to us. So it's so true, isn't it? It's a very reciprocal thing when we're given gifts and then we give them away. Giving and receiving are like this free exchange of oxygen in our lives, in our creative lives. So I really want you to think about that and what that might mean for you. So for our painting practice today, I have these brushes from Branch and Brush that I want to use. They're just beautiful. These two are new to me. They're the soft bristle, and then this one is a synthetic bristle, a little bit longer. So I'm going to use those. And then I have here my Stoneworks Mill paints that I've collected. And I love them. I love Kelly, and I love her way about things. It's very unique. And Kelly sources a lot of her own pigments from rocks and minerals in the area where she lives and that she travels to. And she creates these really special paints that have a real love for geology and nature and the true spirit of those rocks and minerals, and then she turns them into these glorious paints. She also uses some purchased pigments, and she does some blends, and they're just incredible. I do have one wild thorn paint in here, the Sun Gold Mica, because Kelly does not have a true like metallic paint yet. She's got micas and muscovites and things like that mixed into her other paints, so you'll see like a little glimmer in them, but she doesn't have one that's like pure shimmer yet, but she's working on it. And it will be very special, I know. So I'm going to use Kelly's paints today, and she's also a very giving artist. I mean, she's very supportive of other makers, and she's very free with her knowledge and generous with her product too. So I think she's the perfect person to use today. I also have a jar of water. I keep a mason jars of water on my studio desk because if I don't close them, my cats inevitably jump up and knock them off. So that's kind of funny. And then I have some Strathmore watercolor postcards, and I'm just going to remove one. Okay, and I think I'm going to start with a water-soluble graphite pencil. You could use any watercolor pencil or even just a regular pencil. And I'm going to start about 2/3 of the way up and just draw 4 dots to make a square. And then I'm going to connect them just sort of freely. Okay, and then I'm going to think about my gifts and some colors that speak to me when I think about those gifts. And I'm going to use this soft branch and brush, and I'm going to wet the inside of my box because I want it to be really sort of dreamy. I want the colors to all mix and mingle with one another. So I'm just putting some clear water down. I'm letting that water-soluble graphite or colored pencil, if you're using that, just sort of melt into the water glaze. And it doesn't matter if I go over the lines. This is very loose and free. But I want to center myself for a moment and think about my box and what is in my box. And I'm just going to start painting. And I'm going to put it on with some music and just finish my process without talking. And then I'll be back to talk some more. Okay, so I finished my painting and I allowed it to dry. And this is how I felt about my box. And so if I were to look at it, I didn't really think about it, I just painted. And that's what I want you to do, because sometimes when we just work intuitively, it gives us the most accurate picture, right? And I love that I put the gold mica in the center, but it also sort of emanates out from it in different places. And so for me, this is the spark of inspiration that I want to freely share with others. Okay, and very warm-heartedly from my heart with the heart colors, and also the inspiration sort of breathes out, all right, and it's sort of the spark, the spark of beginning, the spark of inspiration, and that's sort of what I focused on, I guess, when I was thinking about my box. And so I have here, I've got my graphite pencil, and I think I'm just going to add some more lines around the box just to sort of enclose it a little bit. Just free little pencil marks. And then I have a white gel pen that I think I'm just going to add a few little dots of white here and there, kind of emanating from my box. If you have a white gel pen, they're really fun to use sometimes on our artwork. This one is made by Sakura. It's called Decorez, and it's a really nice one because it's very wet and juicy, and it just seems to always work. Some white gel pens are tricky, and they don't always work well for us. So this one is usually reliable. So I've got some little white sparks coming out from my box. And then I have this tiny Copic multi-liner in cool gray. It's very, very small. It's a 0.03. And I think I'm just going to put some darker marks here where I have the pencil line. Whatever feels right. Just to give it a little texture. Not too much. And maybe right around that gold spark of inspiration in the center, I'll put more of the white gel pen. Just to sort of isolate that and highlight it a little bit. So I'm just stippling, I'm just using tiny little dots around it. There. And then at the bottom, underneath our box, see, I filled the whole paper in with all these beautiful colors that spoke to me while I was doing it. And at the bottom, I'm going to take a moment and just write a few words. I'm just going to say, I want to share the gift of seeing and inspiration. So I want to share the gift of seeing and inspiration. And I wrote that at the bottom of my box card. So I'll hold this up. And that's all. And I can put this on my altar or on my work table, and it will remind me of those gifts that I hold dear and that I want to freely share in my life. And so I want you to do the same. I want you to make a box card for yourself. And then when you're finished and it dries, you can decorate it a little bit more if you want to. You don't have to. You can leave it just as it is. And then I want you to write a simple sentence that describes what you want, the gift that you want to share with others. And that's all. That's all for today. So I hope this was enjoyable. If you have a tarot deck, look at your Hierophant card and see how it speaks to you. The traditional one is kind of severe. And it's funny, it came to me after I talked about my husband, my sweetheart. When you do numerology, you add all the numbers of your birthday together, the month, the year, and the day, and then you add those numbers together down so they make one number. And his number is 5. And the Hierophant is the 5th card in the tarot deck in the Major Arcana. So that's kind of interesting because he really is a trusted advisor for many, many people, and freely shares his gifts as well. But I thought that was sort of an interesting thing. So look at your tarot deck if you have one. If you don't have a tarot deck, that's fine. But they have apps that you can get for your phone with tarot decks, which are kind of fun. If you ever want to know more about them, feel free to ask me. I don't use them for divination purposes. I don't really read for other people. I don't even read traditionally. I choose 1 or 2 a day, and I use them very intuitively as a spark for my own journey and for things that are happening in my life, and they sort of pull more thoughts out of me from what I see in the image. So that's what I use them for, and the soul cards are very, very special as well. So that's all for today. I want you to think about your box, your special box, and what it is, those gifts that you have, that you've recognized in yourself, that you can nurture and hold dear and freely share with others. That's all for today. Thank you so much, and I will be back tomorrow with a new graphite techniques video. All right? Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.